hosting the Western Sydney Wanderers on Saturday afternoon, with Olympic looking to continue their good form at home to begin the season. Cool. A very good afternoon, everybody, and a warm welcome to Belmore Sports Ground, home of Sydney Olympic. Their visitors today, the young Western Sydney Wanderers in round 2 of the NPL New South Wales men's competition. My name's Alex Bolchanoff, delighted to be along for the ride with you over the next 2 hours in a fixture which has given us plenty of goals and its own dose of controversy over the Wanderers' first 2 seasons in the top flight. We're expecting more of the same today. So straight to the team news, not much of it for Labrador Elite, who got his 3rd season of his tenure in charge off to a good start last week. A come from behind win here over St George FC. Adam Parkhouse, the captain, setting up the first for Seth Clark before scoring a brilliant volley for the second. So it is that same 11. In goal again, number 1 Jack Gibson, the off-season signing from the Western Sydney Wanderers. Behind a back 4 of number 12 Zach Soricic, number 5 Ziggy Gordon, number 28 Donny Gerdich, who made his club debut last weekend, as did number 3 Connor O'Toole. A midfield 3, number 8 Sam Nicol-Hatton is a familiar face around these parts, as is Ten Quol, although he's found another new position to start 2025. Jack Armson is fast becoming a popular figure amongst Olympic fans after a hot start to his pre-season. And then the front 3, Seth Clark and Adam Parkhouse, we've already mentioned. Number 9 Cyrus Demi leads the line through the middle. Just 2 changes for the Wanderers, a 1-1 draw for them last weekend against the Mount Druitt Town Rangers out at Wanderers Football Park. Richard and Como with a screaming effort that gave the Wanderers the lead before Joey Gibbs got the equaliser. But happy enough with what he's seen. Richie Cardoso has made just 2 changes, and it's both his strikers who have made way for 2 new ones. Starting from the back note, number 1 Tristan Vidakovic is back in goal. Number 22 Jesse Cameron, the right back. Ricky Franson and Nathan Barry, the centre-backs. Richard and Como starting up left-back. And midfield 4, number 27, Julian Kopp on the right. Number 31, the captain, Aidan Simmons on the left. Number 8, Nick Battalato. And number 39, Kate Bacchus through the middle. The new strike partnership is number 38, Noah Peacock. And number 11, Khan Nizam. For those of you that are close watchers of this competition and the cups around here, last time Noah Peacock visited, he got a goal for Spirit FC in an Australia Cup fixture. After coming off the bench, he has happy memories here. Richie Cardoso is hoping he can bottle a little bit of that magic in his first start at NPL level for the club. Been desperate a little bit for the Wanderers over the back half of last season. They have 14 games without a win in this competition after starting the season so brightly a year ago. A younger team with fresher faces. They need to start adding results to their evident talent. Sydney Olympic winning has been something they need to do more consistently under Labrador Elite. His win rate since taking charge at the beginning of the 2023 season, taking over from Ante Juric, is 39%. A 9th place finish in year 1, followed by an 8th place finish in year 2. A club so synonymous with success in New South Wales and indeed Australian football. Ambitions are a lot loftier this year. Made a very good start about making that a reality with their start last weekend. Certainly the signings have been a talking point. They all played a part last weekend. Ten Quol, I mentioned in the pre-game, starting through the centre of the pitch. Adam Parkhouse wearing the captain's armband this year. But this week seems to be a rotating system around Olympic. Experienced head of Ziggy Gordon. No Roy O'Donovan for them though. Cyrus Demi coming in to try and fill his boots from Olympic FC in Queensland. Had a good start to his life in this competition south of the Tweed last weekend, but it was Parkhouse who played hero, getting the assist for a first Seth Clark goal in the NPL New South Wales after he was brought down from the Northern New South Wales Premier League, where he was the Player of the Year in that competition with Edgeworth Eagles. Michael Hatton trying to dance through a few bodies, but it was Bacchus very much living up to his name in nicking the ball back and then given away again by the young Wanderers. Parkhouse with it was almost a conflicted cross, wasn't it? Didn't know whether he wanted to hang it up to the back post or really whip something challenging into an area that made things more difficult for the defenders. In any case, Olympic have got an early attacking throw. Have started the very early stages in the ascendancy. It's a warm day in the west of Sydney, 28 degrees at kickoff. Temperature will cool as the sun sets, but players are going to be careful to conserve their energy in the early stages. Ziggy Gordon's been out here long enough to know how to do that now. For Scott, a lovely ball over the top from Michael Hatton for O'Toole, who's making a telling contribution down the left in the early stages. A lot of defending for the young Wanderers to do. Buckland held up fairly well last weekend, although Tristan Verdakovic was judged by a couple of judges as one of their strongest performers. Getting a point on the opening day. Good for building confidence in any case, even against a newly promoted side. Speaking of Mount Druitt Crown Rangers, they've just kicked off their game against the Marconi Stallions out at Popondetta Park. We'll bring you updates from that game throughout the course of this one as well. Peter Moore scoreboard on the far side showing 3 minutes gone. Scoreline still sitting at 0-0 and head in hands. A lead from Jack Armson. Generally pretty proficient from those sort of set-piece situations. His first opportunity today, not his finest effort. We saw the Mariners get themselves a bit of bother last weekend on the opening night against Manly United, playing out from the back, and perhaps Armson was sensing that could have happened. The Wanderers wanted a free kick further up the pitch, didn't get it, and Parkhouse hangs it up to the back post. Vidakovic did nicely, read it well and reeled it in without too much trouble. Como's a player that the Wanderers have a lot of hopes for around the club. They pinched him off Sydney FC midway through last season. Chosen at left fullback for the opening 2 games. Got the goal last weekend. Perhaps thinking some opposition teams that Aidan Simmons is wearing the captain's armband with the solid amount of A-League experience he has now is more the threat, but Nkomo showing that they could become a lethal little duo down the left over the course of this NPL New South Wales season. Stepping into midfield was Franson. It was a well-weighted ball. One red-haired centre-back has his pass cut out by another with a little bit more experience. Ricky Franson, who grew up not too far from here, St George City's youth system, being taken across by the Wanderers. There's an uncompromising challenge from Michael Hatton through the back of Julian Kopp. In the pre-game as well, this is a fixture that has brought a lot of goals. In the past couple of seasons, at least 4 in all of them. There's a chance for Nick Padulato to get in behind here. Instead, he plays in Cameron down the right. Gordon again across to do the in fact, it was Parkhouse getting all the way back there to prevent the right fullback from getting the crossover. It's been a good response from the Wanderers after what was a pretty slow start. Now making Olympic do their fair share of defending, just as they did against Mount Druitt Town Rangers last weekend. Cardoso was such a talented player himself in this competition, and very much in the style of player he was. His team set up to move the ball quickly, allow the players to get into spaces where they can utilize their individual ability. In fact, the Parkhouse has seen more of the ball almost inside his 18-yard box than further up the field. There's a very good early sign for the travelling Wanderers. It's a bit of a down year for Adam Parkhouse 2024 in terms of goal output, and his assist totals were a little lower. Just a thought sneaking around in some parts. Although he's still only 32, the powers were not once what they were. In the mid-2010s when he was winning championships with Manly United, but he's put those fears to bed with his start to this season. The Wanderers have got him running back towards his own goal here again, though. That's it for Nizam, who's been brought in today. It was a fairly cheap turnover, in all honesty. And Demis are allowed to run the ball clear. Looking for the return ball, fairly easily cut out by Barry. And one back high up the pitch. Chance here for Clark to get a ball across, which he did. And Ten Kwol was attacking it. Jesse Cameron did enough. In fact, some of the Olympic players thought he did more than enough and might have actually got the final touch on that ball. Referee Hayden Langholz today. It's been a roller coaster ride to start this football match. Olympic on top for the first 3 or 4 minutes, and the Wanderers had a little bit of a siege laid down on Olympic's goal. No meaningful save having to be made by either goalkeeper just yet. Zoricic turning to the club this year after playing his first season. After going through the Central Coast Mariners Academy, ever present. One of the fullback positions for Labano Haliti last season. So he was playing through the middle of the park with quite a bit of comfort at the moment. Not sure how happy Cardozo will be with Kate Bacchus' ball forward, which looks more in hope than anticipation. Nizam's been able to get on the ball fairly consistently for the Wanderers. Just looking for the final telling pass or shot. Peacock not quite as much in the game. I'll tell you what, the Wanderers defenders are back in it now as Cameron does nicely to prevent Parkhouse from getting the ball across. And then Franson tidying up the scraps. Kwol. Those are big, strong lads. He's played in the centre of attack, the centre of defence, out on the wing for Labano Haliti over the past season or so. First 2 games of this year, he played through the centre of the park. It's a starting defensive partnership. Round 2 last year. Sides and now departed George Timotheo. Sent off in their round 2 game. After just 30 seconds of his club debut. It's a sign that little partnership wasn't going to work out as nicely for either party as they might have hoped. There was a late challenge in there from Connor O'Toole. Went hard through the back of Julian Kopp. He's not the biggest boy. Strong enough to stand his ground and win the challenge in the air of the taller, more experienced opponent. And now he's asking Adam Langholz why Connor O'Toole wasn't booked. So looking at player short on confidence, Julian Kopp. It's been a bright start to this one. There's been plenty of promising signs for the young Wanderers in the opening 10 minutes here. At least this man, Richard Nkomo's had a hot start to the season. He's looking to continue it today. Like he was having his jersey held for just a moment there. Tim Quall managed to sweep up and help out Seth Clark. And after a pretty frantic opening to this one, he's settled into a little bit of a rhythm. And a lot of it's based on the Wanderers trying to play out from the back and Olympic trying to win the ball up high up the pitch and catch them in counter-attack. That's exactly what Michael Hatton's done here. Didn't have too many options to go to after he'd won it back though. And then Kopp's ball was a little wayward. Donny Gerdich. Another one of the Olympic players who's been through this Wanderers Academy side. We saw the pitch once in the A-League men's. It was at the Western Sydney Wanderers Gerdich. Took a quick sojourn over to Slovenia. He was playing with Rudar Velenje. 10 games over that last season. The adventure of a lifetime, I'd say. His Olympic teammates in front of him are starting to build nicely. Zoricic with his first chance really to get forward from right full back today. And he's won his side a corner, thumping the ball off Nkomo. Ball that has found its way almost into the net. Vidakovic just doing a little bit of tidying up. See how the delivery is this time from Connor O'Toole. It's deep. Gordon won the header. It was back across the face almost with too much power for any blue shirts to really get close to it. And then the Wanderers try to play out. Parkhouse presses and we'll do it all again. To the state of the game that has dominated the opening quarter of an hour. Wanderers trying gamely to play through the press, and they've managed to this time. It's found its way to Noah Peacock in midfield. And Jesse Cameron, one of the more experienced players in this young Wanderers side. On Nizam, his shot thumped against Ziggy Gordon, not for the first time this afternoon. Forward Parkhouse. Demi has got the better of the defender and he's bearing down on goal. What a challenge from Nkomo, whose teammates celebrate it like it was a goal. Superb piece of defending. Like a thief in the night, Demi didn't see him coming. Richard Nkomo, who has made an impact in the attacking half of the field in round one, has just made one of the tackles of the season in round two. Still a corner to defend for the Wanderers. Armstrong and O'Toole get it all wrong. And away goes Kopp. Armstrong does well to recover his own error. First touch that I can remember for Jack Gibson in the Olympic net. And it's to batter the ball on the other end of the pitch. Well, back high again by Demi, who's missed opportunity only a couple of minutes ago, hasn't lessened his energy. dispossessed Nathan Barry to get into the position where he was bearing down on goal. This time it was Ricky Franson who was just caught dwelling on it for a moment too long. And now Olympic have a free kick 30 yards from goal. It's a long way out. It would be a spectacular effort to score from this sort of range. So Parkhouse and Qual sum up their options. It's going to be Teng Qual, it appears, to take this. I wonder, this line of 5 blue and white shirts along the edge of the penalty area. Qual is going himself, though, straight into the 4-man wall. Hatton keeping it alive, and Gordon can make something from balls like this, but that was rather dangerous, getting under Vidakovic. And there's a little coming together. Vidakovic didn't appear to be too happy, but he's not the most fiery of characters. Some of his teammates stepping in on his behalf, and at the end of all of that, it's an offside flag, which is what's actually given the free kick to the Wanderers. Richard Cardoso is not best pleased that there's still no names, particularly Sydney Olympic names, in referee Hayden Langholz's notebook. Hatton playing at that one on the ground, then Qual was late on Julian Kopp, who's been giving the Olympic players all sorts of problems, and now the yellow card does come out. It's for Teng Qual. Julian Kopp is getting to the ball ahead of his Olympic opponents almost every time the ball is in dispute. As always at Belmore, the Olympic supporters not shy of disagreeing with the referee's decision. A little tension bubbling under the surface, and Qual, who's just picked up a booking, not discouraged by that at all, straight to the deck. Bacchus quite getting these past quite where he wanted it, but Nkomo was able to retreat towards his own goal and pick up the ball. Well, nearly 20 minutes played. We've had plenty of talking points. All we are really missing is a goal. We've had a brilliant last-ditch challenge from Richard Nkomo when Cyrus Demi was through one-on-one. It's the closest either side has come. Caught with his back to goal. Franson. Bacchus had his pass picked off by Michael Hatton. Hearing that name, Bacchus, yes. Another of 2 former Wanderers players, Kieran and Keanu, and he's chasing down Demi. Armstrong thinks he was taken off the ball. The referee agrees. And it's going to be Nick Badalato. He becomes the first Wanderer in the referee's notebook this afternoon. Just stepping across Jack Armstrong as he tried to make the 3rd man run. Play was developing dangerously for Sydney Olympic, well, dangerously for the Western Sydney Wanderers, promisingly for Sydney Olympic. Got a couple of opportunities from set pieces now, Sydney Olympic, and haven't quite got their delivery right. When you think about the players who they have who are so talented with the ball from these situations, and the height of Demi, who gets to that one. I think it would be a more fruitful route to goal than it has been for them over the past couple of seasons. It's a better weighted ball in from Teng Qual to find Demi. Just to get the shot away this time, but well off target. Poor touch from Aidan Simmons, of all people. Could say the say of Demi, who was looking to flick it back for Teng Qual. There have been moments where those two have looked as though there's an understanding there. This hasn't quite clicked to its fullest capacity yet. Hatton. More in hope than anticipation, but it's forced an error from Ricky Franson. Rather than clearing his lines, shin the ball out of play. Demi. He's looking for a little ball in behind was Clark, who hasn't been featuring much, so he drifts out to the left and Adam Parkhouse misses him with the pass. The quality Olympic was showing in the early stages just departed them in the final third somewhat. Wanderers, who had the ascendancy early in the game in terms of possession, have somewhat relinquished that. I don't have that statistic in front of me, but it's a positive guess. I think they'd be split around 50-50 at the moment. Martelato thumping it into Parkhouse, and it's Clark who's trying to get more involved by drifting out to the left. He finds Parkhouse. Beautiful delivery. Demi lost it in the sun though. Still it falls for him, and Vidakovic made a very sharp save. Regulation, yes, it was straight at him, but Demi hit it with plenty of force from close range. It was a good reaction stop from the Wanderers keeper. Olympic just starting to assert their authority a little. It's Belmore pitch that looks in better condition than it has started the last couple of seasons. Balls like this from Quall, where he's just blind and looking to play somebody in behind and really have a particular option in mind, hoping that someone runs for it. A couple of times it's worked for Sydney Olympic in different situations. And that is the centre back, Ricky Franson, a little Cruyff turn to get out of trouble. And encouraged to play from front to back for Wanderers. Badalato taken off his toe by Quall. Well, that's a slide rule pass that was just intercepted. Crucial touch from Nathan Barry. He's an Australian international at the 17s level. One of those highly touted defenders that seem to come through the Wanderers Academy in numbers and numbers and numbers. Cameron on the 50-50 with O'Toole. He got to Cop. That time Quall had seen the trick. Trying goes the Wanderers' way though. Jesse Cameron is an intelligent player for a young man his age. A bit of his problem-solving ability in that little duel with Connor O'Toole down the near side of the pitch. They switched it out to attacking left, and Como bending one high towards Nizam, who did very well to almost give Jack Gibson a bit of a heart and mouth moment. He was scrambling away to his left, the big Olympic number one. Wonder if he would have got there had it snuck inside the post. Guess we'll never know. First real opportunity of the game for the Wanderers comes in the 26th minute of this game, on the back of some enterprising play. Khan Nizam's desire to get his head into it's a little bit of a dangerous area. Donny Gerdich was lining it up. Padalatu is already in the referee's bad books. Just got to be a little careful. He hasn't put himself and his team in an early hole here. Youngster's been brought through under his academy all the way from under 12s. His brother Alex is on the move this week. One of the stars of the Wanderers Academy side for the last couple of seasons has made the move down to Melbourne, signing with the victory. Thompson's little dink ball over the top was never really looking as though it would reach someone in blue. Could be a little bit disappointed, Jack Armson, with what he's come up with from set pieces in this first half. As I said, after one of his corners, usually so deadly, putting that ball exactly where he wants it. Radar's just been a little off to start this one. No, though, it only takes one to unpick a defence. The problem for Sydney Olympic is it's generally taking more than one at the moment. Nizam's got in behind. Connor O'Toole recovers and concedes the corner. And I say that because Olympic have gone 13 games now without a clean sheet in the NPL New South Wales. Their last one was a 4-0 win at Marconi, funnily enough. Did perform well in quite a few of those big games. Beat Rockdale Illingdon here, beat Marconi away. They've shown they've got the talent to go with the teams at the top. It's these sort of banana skins that they've got to be careful of, as Nkomo almost curled it indirect. And Gibson made a pretty athletic save after being caught out of position. Not sure if it was intentional from Nkomo to put it that close to the goalkeeper. But certainly there's a concerted effort from the Wanderers to disrupt their former goalkeeper. Now in pink for Olympic. Nkomo right on the money again. It's towards Franson. Dangerous ball for Armson to attack, which he did well. Bacchus won the ball in the air. Well, back up by Cobb. Peacock's got heights, but didn't read it as well as Gordon. And Olympic have cleared their lines. At least for now. If there was any question that Julian Kopp was going to try and take that ball on. Audacious little bit of skill. Michael Hutton has been around this competition long enough to know what he needed to do was get his body in the way. Most likely a foul would follow. Seems like he's been around forever, doesn't he, Sam? Michael Hutton, still only 26. Part of the 2022 Premiership winning team under Ante Juric. He's back in the competition this year with Sydney United. They're in action tomorrow against Sydney FC, 4 o'clock kickoff down at the Illingdon Sports Centre. And the Central Coast Mariners in action tomorrow as well, hosting trophy hopefuls, RP Leichhardt. Chat to Temba Guatemala yesterday. It was a disappointing year last season for RP Leichhardt. Knocked out in the first week of, or the midweek of the finals against Sydney United at home. Did manage to win the Waratah Cup. That was a gorgeous bit of skill from O'Toole to keep the ball in play. Who's made his name around a glut of A-League clubs. Including the Roar and the Jets and Sydney FC. Most lately with Western United, where he's signed from. Fairly touted junior, Connor O'Toole. He was Australian international with the Young Socceroos and the Olyroos. On the 20 and under 23 level. Switch of play from Michael Hutton. Just with a bit too much height for Zoricic to reel it in. Tick past the half-hour mark, and the chances have been few and far between, I have to say. Tempo slowing notably as the shadows get a little longer across the pitch at Belmore today. Barry. It's a poor pass, and it gives Olympic the chance to counter. Demi trying to get off the shoulder. Good recovering defence from Nick Battalato. Okay, Bacchus. Of course, Kunyak in commentary last week said he's just got the Bacchus look, and certainly does move so similarly, particularly to Keanu. Hopefully, for Australian football's sake, he can grow into just as fine a player as his brother. We're wearing the green and gold sooner rather than later. Bacchus again, in space this time. Qual's just got too much size and strength. He goes through the back of him, but won the ball cleanly. And Langholz had a good view, and then it's turned over sloppily by Clark of all people, and then Peacock's launching away. And it was launching because the ball skewed off the outside of his foot. It's high and wide and never threatening Gibson's net. Peacock made the move in January for a very good season with Northwest Sydney Spirit. Moved after a bit of frustration at Manly United, where he was playing in the underage team, scoring goals. Getting a look in the first team. Got his chance under David Perkovic. Mostly off the bench last year. Nice little goal return, particularly in the Cups. Mentioned that goal here at the start of the broadcast. For Spirit now winning the cup tie here. A little bit of cup specialists. And a journey back to the top tier of NPL football, Spirit FC. First team from outside the top division to take out the Waratah Cup in New South Wales. Back in 2022. Year on year, to say, looking across all the teams on the first weekends and the results we've already seen. This weekend, Sutherland beating Manly 3-0 at Cromer Park last night. Rockdale coming from behind again. This time to snatch all 3 points off St George FC by 2-1. Teams that have improved up and down the league. Parkhouse trying to stay at the top of things, and that was whiskers away from rather an odd opening goal. The Wanderers looked to have everything under control, and then suddenly Parkhouse stuck out a boot to block the clearance. Vidakovic was caught unawares. Could only watch with bated breath as the ball flashed across the face of his goal. Well, thankfully for him, just wide. With 10 minutes to go, Olympic are coming with another push. Parkhouse still looking their main creative outlet. Haven't been able to find him probably as often as they would have liked in this first half. The Wanderers have done well restricting his service. And they've done a lot of that by just keeping possession for long periods. Understanding that Olympic were not going to be able to press the entirety of the 90 minutes coming here today in the heat. Just as they did last weekend against Mount Druitt Town Rangers, have applied themselves to the task rather diligently. And Nizam's got a chance to shoot here. Sits a defender down. Gordon got it right the second time. Simmons taking up the attack. Nizam, it came to him so quickly from Simmons that it was always going to be difficult to control the shot. And just as Olympic thought they were getting back on top, the Wanderers put together a pretty dangerous attack of their own. Haven't had those big narrative moments that commentators and writers love to build up about, but it has been a thoroughly engaging watch. Two teams that have looked pretty evenly matched, perhaps more so than we expected coming into the game. Olympics experience win out, or will Wanderers' younger legs run them over late? That's probably the question we'll be asking deep into the second half. Does have a game with a feel of a goal before halftime, though. The team's doing enough attacking, generating enough. Just been snatching at the half chances that have presented themselves. Como's having another fine game. Left wing back, of course, as I say that, Simmons misses him with the pass. I have to say, Edden Simmons, who is probably the best known of the Wanderers players in wider Australian football circles, has been largely anonymous. Aside from that ball back for Khan Nizam, that resulted in a shot a couple of minutes ago. Hasn't had too many telling touches in this first half. I think Gerdich would have liked that to be more telling, but he did somehow manage to keep it in play. You see Cameron fell to the turf with a thud right in front of the Wanderers bench. Rather optimistic appeals for a free kick, and Cameron left it foot of his own in on Parkhouse. That one's not given a free kick either. Gerdich with players chasing, he's aware of that, so heads it wide. Lovely ball from Peacock, and in behind is Julian Kopp. A little bit more bend, and Nizam would have had a very good chance. Gibson's controlled his area well, though. Exception of Richard and Como's corner, which always found its way straight into the back of his net. He's dealt with everything very calmly. Gerdich is not really helping him out. It's all looked a bit frantic from the former Wanderer. He wants to tidy up his own mess then. Lobbed forward by Armson for Demi. Parkhouse in support. Demi lost his footing at the critical moments and now stays down. He's already on his way down when the challenge came from Ricky Franson. Looked like it got a lot more ball than it did of Cyrus Demi. A good return for Olympic FC up in the NPL in Queensland last season. 9 goals in 16 games. I don't know, Haliti would be more than happy with a similar return this season. It's a few more appearances played, but a goal every other game will do just nicely. One real chance for him today as Gibson has to come out and punch over the top of Nizam, and then a little shove as Nizam was returning to his feet as well, which the Wanderers striker didn't appreciate. It's a bit of fire just bubbling underneath this contest. Nice little link up between Kopp and Cameron. Had a good start to this game down the right. Ball getting back to do the defending. It is Labano Haliti's Swiss Army knife. Teng Kuo. Wanderers opting just to keep the football a little longer. We're 5 minutes from the break. Kopp not strong enough this time. Taken off him by O'Toole and then given away by Mikkel Harten. Much to the frustration of the Olympic supporters. There's an increasingly frustrated atmosphere here in the stand at Belmore. Hearts in mouths as Simmons glides towards goal and has it nicked off him by Zach Zoricic. Demi bundling over Barry, but Badalato was back to do the tidying up. Olympics' energy has just departed from this game altogether. The Wanderers trying to pass them to death at the end of the first half. His ball for Simmons, easily picked off by Gordon. Clark, Player of the Year in the Northern New South Wales Premier League up in Newcastle last season. It's a good ball out from Gurditch that draws applause and gives Parkhouse space to run into. To his opposite winger, Seth Clark. Trying to find a pass through 3 lines of Wanderers defenders. Would have been one of the passes of the year if he'd pulled it off. So it was ambitious. He's clearly talented. New pieces of Labano Haliti's clearly talented roster. Just taking their time to gel. Parkhouse trying to make that happen. All well cleared by Barry. Across the front of Cyrus Demi. Summing up his options with just over 2 minutes until half-time. Plenty of blue shirts forward. Michael Hatton. Plenty of red and black ones back. Must be said as well. And Nizam dodges a couple of challenges. Bacchus needs to use it. Got numbers here if they play it right. The Western Sydney Wanderers. Como for Nizam. Bacchus. Ball that took Cop wide rather than towards goal. Cameron joining in. Nizam. Cop again. This time the regulation cross, which is turned clear by Zoricic. The Olympic supporters are particularly happy with what they're seeing to conclude this first half, certainly. And the call is for them to press, but I have to say, players, you know, the heat has sapped some energy. Barry, and to be fair to the Wanderers, made the Olympic midfield particularly do a lot of chasing in this first half. O'Toole did well to get the host going forward. Nicked it off Cop. They seem to have figured his game out somewhat over the first 40 minutes. Armson choosing to slow the tempo rather than continue the attack, which killed any momentum, and then the Wanderers were able to get numbers back behind the ball. I have to say, even Labano Elite is usually one of the more animated coaches around the competition. Has been rather reserved in the first half. Especially Richie Cardoso, who's been doing most of the talking from the 2 technical areas. Cardoso looking to guide the young Wanderers to their first win in 14. That won't help their cause. Qual on, it was played beautifully across the face of goal, just not anticipated by Jack Armson, who scores so many goals like that. On this occasion, he's just a step behind Tenqual, and so not able to make the most of it. This is what's been really fascinating about this game, is that the Wanderers are clearly reaping rewards from playing out and sticking to their system, getting attacking players on the ball in good areas. But it's also providing Olympic with opportunities to get forward in numbers like this. Clark scored on debut last weekend. Parkhouse, who was on the score sheet as well. Lovely ball, Zoricic arriving. Simmons used his body beautifully. Judged the flight of the ball and won it. Kopp, who's probably had the most touches of any Wanderers player in this first half. Up there with Cameron and Nizam. Those 3, I would say. Combined to put him in a crossing position. Towards Peacock, away by Gordon. Now there's another chance for Olympic to go in counter-attack. Into the 2nd minute of stoppage time. Parkhouse. Good piece of defending from Ricky Franson. And a frantic finish to A bit of a topsy-turvy first half. Olympic came out the stronger. The Wanderers worked their way back into the game. Came up with a couple of half opportunities. Came closest when Richard and Kermo forced Jack Gibson into a rather last-ditch save direct from a corner kick. Cyrus Demi was put through one-on-one down the other end for Olympic, but a brilliant challenge from it and Kermo again prevented him from getting a firm shot away. One other key save from Tristan Vidakovic, but apart from that, chances have not exactly been flowing here at Belmore. See if we get more of them in the second half, which is coming up in 10 or 15 minutes from the Belmore Sports Grounds. But at half-time, it's Sydney Olympic 0, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. Welcome back to Belmore Sports Ground. The second half about to get underway between Sydney Olympic and the Western Sydney Wanderers. Goalless at half-time. A couple of good saves from Wanderers keeper Tristan Vidakovic, who's made another fine start to this NPL New South Wales season. Challenge spurned as well by Cyrus Demi. He was caught with a beautiful challenge by Richard and Kermo when he looked to be through on goal, and Kermo really with the best chance of the first half for the Wanderers when he nearly curled one in direct from a corner. Jack Gibson pouring it off his line. Between that, chances not exactly flowing freely in the first half. It's been a tactical battle. Wanderers trying to play out through a semi-consistently high press from Sydney Olympic. They're now trying to play out themselves rather riskily. But Nickel Hatton had enough to get that out to Zach Zoricic. No changes from either side at the break, but a chance for Olympic early here as it's sliced behind by Nathan Barry, recovering at his front post after Zoricic had broken in behind. Good start for the hosts to the second half. We're hoping a goal follows shortly. Mentioned a couple of times in the opening 3/4 of an hour of the broadcast. Game that has typically brought plenty of goals. Usually quite a few of them in the first half as well. Corresponding fixture last year, Teng Qual opened the scoring after just 4 minutes as Connor O'Toole curls that one in, and it's easily claimed by the Wanderers goalkeeper. Haven't seen too many signs of that yet though. 4 goals in every game these two teams have played. 4 goals or more, I should say, between these two teams in every game they've played since the Wanderers' promotion up to the top tier. They played a game of the COVID-shortened season, and the Wanderers were allowed entry into the top competition before going back down to what was then NPL 2. Promotion in 2022 had been a long thing coming for the club. He's now getting experience week in, week out at the highest level of New South Wales state football. Hayden Simmons, who started the game on the left wing, has drifted out to the right here, with Jesse Cameron overlapping him. Continues his run forward, now looking to push infield and has it nicked off him. Nickel Hatton getting it wide to Parkhouse, who looked Olympics' best threat again in the first half in an attacking sense down the left. And the captain's armband today for Labano Haliti. Seth Clark, who made a goal-scoring start to his Olympic career last weekend, is one-on-one with Nkomo. Gets to the byline. Vidakovic almost lost that one in the sun. Armson scraps it into a central area, and Demi almost into the face of Jesse Cameron. Olympic starting on the front foot, which they needed to do. Drifted out of control of the game towards the end of the first half. Some shouts of frustration starting to grow through the crowd here at Belmore. Nizam was looking to redirect that ball central. It's one of the 2 changes to Richie Cardozo's starting 11 today. New front 2. Nizam partnering Noah Peacock, making his first start for the Wanderers today. Cameron drives that ball in low, blocked by O'Toole, out for a Wanderers throw. Interesting to see how soon coaches pull the trigger and go to the benches. Some good attacking options that'll take you through. We'll get a break in play. Deflection is off Adam Parkhouse and behind for a Wanderers corner. One that had slowed to walking pace at times in the final 10 minutes of that first half has been reinvigorated with energy after half-time. This was the planned play from set pieces for the Western Sydney Wanderers in the first half, getting lots of bodies around their former goalkeeper Jack Gibson. Feeling there's a hesitancy in the air that they can take advantage of. Como will swing it in towards the goalkeeper again. Barry got there. Ball went up rather than towards goal. Only half away, and then Bacchus's effort wasn't caught as he would have liked. Another set piece seen off by Sydney Olympic. The home games around a little bit last year. Belmore getting quite a bit of use in the early Bulldogs in their all season, so games out at Jubilee Stadium. There's good surrounds for them. Probably a little higher quality of pitch as well, although Belmore's looking pretty outstanding again today. A few more natural grass pitches coming into the competition. The Wanderers, of course, tried to play their games pending weather on their grass pitch out at Wanderers Football Park. Peacock slipped in behind. He wants the handball decision. It's not forthcoming from the referee. Attack still alive as Ricky Franson takes up the ball and flashes it across. Peacock into the side netting. And there were a few in the stands who thought it was in. This time it's Olympic not dealing with the danger. And the Wanderers striker on starting debut almost had his first goal to go with that start. A bit about Noah Peacock in that first half. More interesting signings for the Wanderers in the off-season. Brought in from Spirit FC. Cameron losing out in midfield to Parkhouse. Gibson's driven goal kick has put Olympic in a promising area. And there's Demi, beaten away by Vidakovic again. End-to-end stuff at the start of the second half. Qual curling it towards the back post. And the Wanderers defenders surrounding it were happy to see it bounce behind. And that's got the crowd engaged in the game as well. And Gibson, after that goal kick, has stayed down. It's a wonderful ball, really. Put Parkhouse into a promising area. Olympic almost had the first goal of the game. Just taking a little bit of the air out of the crowd, but the substitutes available today, the Olympic might have to go there in a second. Monty Partington is the backup goalkeeper, signed from Manly United in the off-season. Jack Gibson does look as though he's going to be able to continue. Lots more attacking options. Labano Elite. He's got Josh Hong there, defensive-minded player, but very adept with the ball at his feet. Michael Varkis, who had a breakout season for Olympic a year ago. Thomas Whiffen is there, another one of the new signings. Johnny DePizio and Dylan Ruiz-Diaz. Wasn't he a highly touted junior? Coming through a number of the A-League youth academies, getting some first team time in the A-League with the Central Coast Mariners before a bit of a trip around the world over the last 3 or 4 years. He's been in Poland, Uruguay and Brazil. Three vastly different footballing cultures he's taken in over the last little period of his career. He turns home at 23 years of age to make his footprints, to mark his footprint on the NPL New South Wales in this 2025 season. Wanderers options on the bench today. Owen Lyle is debuted a year ago and he's got plenty of attacking talent. Johnny Pavlovic is wearing the number 10 today. Anthony Barbic, another highly touted youngster at the club. And Paul Akon is there as well. Lucas Sinot, the backup goalkeeper. It's Khan Nizam, who's been one of the more lively Wanderers attacking players. The opening 55 minutes of this game, his shot deflected behind. Wanderers can resume their bombardment of Gibson with these in-swinging corners from Richard and Como. See a glut of bodies around Gibson again. This time Demi is able to clear without too much pressure. Every Olympic player was back inside the defensive penalty area to defend that one. Ball forwards more in hope than anticipation from Cameron. Toole's clearance was only as far as Bacchus, and then he's won it back off Badalato. Chance for Connor O'Toole to stretch his legs, and there was contact there from Bacchus, which was caught by Hayden Langholz, the referee. I believe that's who the yellow card was shown to. All his experience there, Connor O'Toole, starting up left back today, but the space appeared for him on the right. He's happy to take it when the opportunity presented itself. I mentioned in the first half that Olympics deliveries from these set pieces haven't quite been on the money. Can they find the winning recipe in the second half? Seth Clark, who's been entrusted with this one. Adam Parkhouse, who took set pieces from everywhere and anywhere for Sydney Olympic. It's changed in 2025. Clark got the winning ticket. It's deep, and it provided an opportunity for Ziggy Gordon to get his head on the ball. Vidakovic down to save smartly again. Not the first time this afternoon, but it's all been pretty regulation for the Wanderers goalkeeper to this point. The young Wanderers trying to play out. Julian Kopp, who started this game so brilliantly in half hours, has gone awry with a couple of his more recent touches. Ball's never over the top, allowed to bounce, which made it dangerous. Armson. Parkhouse! Good save initially. Demi lost his footing at the crucial moment. And I don't know that Olympic will get a better opportunity than that this afternoon. Two big chances turned up by Cyrus Demi, either side of half-time. Not even able to get a shot away on that occasion. Richard and Como prevented him from firing in when he looked to be one-on-one with Vidakovic in the first half. His record up at Olympic FC in the NPL in Queensland last year. He's notably unable to find the back of the net in his time with the Brisbane Roar in the A-League men's. Got out on the pitch 26 times in the bright orange. Dangerous ball from Bacchus, searching for Peacock at the back post, and Zoricic had to get something on it. So chance apiece, start of the second half. Oh, Peacock firing into the side netting. Cyrus Demi coming up with an air swing, stumbling as the opportunity presented itself to him. Another in-swinger from the Wanderers. Demi back doing the defending this time. Nods it over the top of the crossbar. We'll do it all again. It's interesting to note before play, neither of the clubs warming up with the deploy match balls. That affects them, and Gibson was under a lot of pressure again. Didn't manage to handle, but always felt pretty confident the free kick was coming, and it did. The frustration of the Wanderers players, but keepers, particularly in their own 6-yard box, are pretty well protected by referees. It's consistent across all of football. No different in the NPL New South Wales. As we tick towards the hour mark, still yet to see a substitution from either coach. Alex Molchanoff with you on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. What has been a gripping game. It's just missing a goal in its opening hour out here at Belmore Sports Ground. Olympic trying to go 2 from 2 to start the season for the first time since 2022. Wanderers looking for their first win in this competition since June last year. And for a time they were top of the NPL New South Wales men's before some mid-season departures and call-ups to the first team in the A-League men's deprived them of the terrific talent that they had access to in the front half of the year, most namely Nathaniel Blair, who was tearing up the competition before he called up to the first team, and now, of course, over with Perth Glory in Western Australia. Zoricic winning solidly, and Demi taking the ball away from Nathan Barry. Face to face with Franson. Touch just took him a little wider than he would have liked. Danger not clear for the Wanderers, though. Wall searching for a free kick that was never coming. Ends a little bit disappointingly again for Olympic. Just not quite had the cutting edge this afternoon. To this point anyway, half an hour is a long time in football. Really, the braver pundit than me to try and pick a winner in this game, because both teams have created enough and also conceded chances. Ball in behind from Nkomo. Gave Khan Nizam a look at it. Gibson able to sweep up behind his defence. Ziggy Gordon and Danny Gurditch look pretty solid as the central defensive pairing. Jaden Casella's goal came after just 3 minutes of the opening game. But Gibson's not really been forced into a meaningful save since then. Demi is growing in influence. Like a goal to add to the promising performance of this game today. Has featured a couple of big missed opportunities. At the end of the day, as a striker, that's job number 1. The other bit of Demi's game's been pretty impressive. Just need a name on the score sheet. Can Parkhouse provide that? More numbers back for the Wanderers than there are forward for Olympic, and even as Armson endeavoured to get his head on that ball, Jesse Cameron was always the favourite, and Simmons is able to carry it clear. Gets it back off Nizam. Numbers again for the Wanderers. Just hesitate a moment. Nizam continues his run. That allowed Gurditch back to track him. Corner goes the Wanderers' way, though. Richie Cardoso is going to his bench for the first time this afternoon. It's a couple of attacking substitutions. Johnny Pavlovich, mentioned, been brought into the side, or into the squad today. Exciting new signing for the Western Sydney Wanderers. I say signing, he's been in the system, Wanderers, for a number of years now, but getting some first team action, wearing the number 10, left by the departed Alex Babalato. Almost every time the Wanderers are getting a corner at the moment, Hayden Langholz, the referee, is having to pull things up and just warn players about holding in the penalty area. The Wanderers have gone short this time, though. Bit of a variation. In by Babalato. Fairly easily cleared by Olympic. Good challenge. Beautifully timed by Ricky Franson. He's had a good afternoon. So the two substitutes are on Pavlovich and Awan Noal, his debut last season, the Blacktown City Junior. Got a couple of goals. His first season in the NPL men's. Chicazoso hoping he can be the telling contributor today. His first touch is one inside a free kick. Taken off, 2 like-for-like substitutions. Cardozo's gone for the 2 strikers. Noah Peacock had a good chance right at the start of the second half. Fired into the side netting. Nizam, who worked hard up front, but wasn't able to get a clear look at goal. Simmons trying to create one. Gurditch got in the way. Pavlovic went down as tried to corral the ball inside Olympics area, and now Gerdic has stayed down, clutching his head, so the referee will have no choice but to stop it. It's been a bit stop-start in the second half. I'd say either side's liking. Wanderers starting to get on top, and an Olympic player goes down. Jack Gibson receiving treatment. Just had us stopped for a moment a little earlier in the half as well. It's an update from Popondetta Park, where Druitt Town Rangers are taking on the Marconi Stallions. The Stallions took a 2-0 lead into half-time there. An own goal. The first goal returning to Marconi colours for Damien Sekenes just before the break. That was after Joey Gibbs had missed a penalty from that Druitt Town after getting a goal on debut against the Wanderers at Wanderers Football Park last weekend. Pete has stayed with us really at Belmore as well. Interesting to see what impact, if any, that has on the players as this game wears on. Just called a little. Still hot in the sunshine on the far side. Gibson gets us restarted from the drop ball. Taking his time over this, but I don't know that Olympic will love him doing that. Ball in play as much as possible as they search for a lone goal which might win them this game. Another stat we mentioned off the top of the broadcast, Olympic haven't kept a clean sheet in the NPL for 13 matches. The last one of those came against Marconi in August last year. It's been a long while between drinks for the Sydney Olympic goalkeepers. Demi, all the sweeter if they've got a lead to defend. Continuing his run was Parkhouse off the post. A scrappy effort born of the Olympic captain's desire, and he was just missing that bit of fortune to go with it. Heart in mouth moment for the Wanderers, who survive another Olympic raid. This time Vidakovic was beaten. Labano Haliti cannot believe it. Similarly, a situation not dissimilar to that in the first half when Barry had tried to clear his lines, the Wanderers centre half. Parkhouse blocked it and the ball flashed across the face of Vidakovic's net. Twice Adam Parkhouse has generated opportunities like that, yet to reap the rewards on the scoreboard. Searching for Demi this time, or perhaps Clark. Zoricic with him. And with a shooting chance, which Vidakovic keeps out again. He's having another fine afternoon, the Wanderers keeper. After close to the man of the match performance in round one, he's standing up again here, making save after save for Western Sydney. And now there's a chance on the break. Just a touch too many, I think, from Julian Kopp in any circumstance, because the flag did go up from Blake Sanchez-Cruz. Boy, hasn't this game opened up in the last 5 minutes. Parkhouse searching for O'Toole, well tracked by Battalato. Call comes from an encouraged Olympic crowd to press and put the Wanderers under pressure. Easier said than done, of course. Thomas Whiffen being readied by Olympics coaching staff to be introduced. Zoricic in off the right, searching for Parkhouse, but he's had neither the power or direction for that. Still, Wanderers haven't cleared their lines. Clark's ball was searching over the top. Demi was always second favourite. First time really all afternoon we see the Wanderers go long from a chance like that. And Como could have made the turnover very costly. Now there's a little face-off between Zoricic and Como. So there's been a bit of feeling just bubbling under the surface in this game. Referee Hayden Langholz has done well to control all of that. So they had to give out the 2 bookings so far, one to either side. Now that substitution comes. So Cyrus Demi will be disappointed because he had 2 clear-cut opportunities either side of the break. Wasn't able to take either of them. Thomas Whiffen, who's returned to Australia from the Czech, well, what was the Czech Republic? Czechia, of course. Czechia. Who's with SFC Opava. A 21-year-old. Another one has been on some travels since his last appearance in Australian football. Nkomo drifting it in on his right foot. Took a deflection on the way in, which meant that it hung up in the air, and then diving towards it was Cole Con. Brought on a double substitution from the Wanderers during that break in play as well. Nick Padulato has made way, along with his midfield partner. By the looks of things, Kate Bacchus. So Kopp going into the centre of midfield alongside Anthony Barbic, who was the other substitute. The Wanderers have used 4 of their 5 allotted now. Pinch a goal while the legs are a little fresher. Not looking to be the case at the minute. Just under 20 minutes to play. Still yet to have the deadlock broken at Belmore Sports Ground. Parkhouse Square for Mikkel Hatton. A 4-ball wide from Seth Clark. He's tidy in most of his touches today, but that was below his best. All-time challenge from Ziggy Gordon. Got past Pavlovic as well. Smattering of applause from the Olympic supporters. Oh, and he turns it over, Ziggy Gordon. There's a chance to run in behind for Lual. Almost got the better of Gerdich, but he did well, Donny Gerdich, to stand up and win the ball as it was in dispute. Both teams searching for the winner now. It's going to make a very watchable last 18 minutes or so, plus whatever is added on at the end of the game. The record I mentioned with the Wanderers, which was the fruitfulness of their early season form, that they never really looked in any sort of trouble of going near the relegation race. So that 14-game run without a win hasn't hurt them too mightily, particularly after picking up a point on the opening day. A piece of defending from Tal Akon. Hoisted forward by Gibson. Cameron's happy to see it over the touchline. I'm surprised if we don't see Michael Varkis before the end of this game for Sydney Olympic, particularly if they're chasing a goal. There's so much value for them off the bench last season. Up in the air was Pavlovic. It was an athletic effort to try and bring the ball down. Couldn't corral it though, and Como has. It nicked off him by Seth Clark, who's stretching out as he returns to his feet. He's closer to the end of his day than the full-time whistle. O'Toole. Well, Zoricic has made the run into the vacated area. Cleared by Barry at the near post. Further away by Kopp. The Wanderers can begin to build from the back again. A common pattern throughout the afternoon. Shadows continue to stretch across the Belmore Sports Ground. Wanderers have got numbers again. They've just got to show a bit of cutting edge. Lual on the turn! It took a deflection, but he'll be credited with that one. And the substitution reaps rewards for the Western Sydney Wanderers. who have been growing and growing into this second half. And you can argue, well and truly deserve it. Played into the feet of Lual. Has been causing problems for Gerdich since being brought on. The touch from the Olympic defender was only enough to take it past Jack Gibson into the top corner. And the Wanderers have the lead with 15 minutes to play. And so Labano Haliti goes to his bench. An almost collective groan from around the Belmore Sports Ground as that ball pulsated into the back of the net. Varkis is brought on, as is Dylan Ruiz-Diaz, to attacking substitutions from Haliti. He needs them to provide something for him now. End of the day for Seth Clark. And for Adam Parkhouse. Oh, playing themselves into trouble. Awful ball. Ocon, and Lual's got his chance for a second. Stumbled as he looked to strike it. What a couple of minutes that would have been for the youngster. Well, there's plenty of talent to go with the striking athleticism. Don't forget the cool head. He turns about 10 yards from goal. He didn't have to have a second look. He knew exactly where he wanted to put it. As I mentioned in the call, it did get a bit of help. Marcus is looking to help his team out, get an equaliser. Tristan Vidakovic again has had a fine afternoon. Started, you'll remember the opening A-League men's game of the season in goal for the Western Sydney Wanderers against Sydney FC. Went down that day, but showed his wares. He's shown them again today. Tenqual's moved into attacking position, and he's going for goal, deflection, and away by Nkomo. I have to say, a little surprised that Parkhouse was one removed. Got through a lot of work this afternoon, but he's still providing promising opportunities for Olympic. Sam Nicol-Hatton is the next removed. Johnny DiPizio, still only 21 years of age. Ronnie Miguel, of course, is going from strength to strength in the A-League men's with the Central Coast Mariners. I think Johnny might be getting a call if his form from last season continues. Looking a bit bulkier than the last time I saw him as well. Wall able to bring the ball down from the throw, then brought down. Varkis. Wanderers scrapping it away. All hands on deck defensively. Zoricic's throw towards Paul again. It's been good for a late goal over the last season. Might need to pop up with another one here if Olympic are to steal a point. Varkis. I've thrown caution to the wind, the hosts. And Richard Nkomo is doing his stocks no harm whatsoever with his performance again this afternoon. Well read by Akon, who's been good for the Wanderers since coming on. Showing the running power to going with his reading of the game. Pavlovic taken down, but I tend to agree with the referee that the Olympic midfielder had front position. Varkis again. He's been everywhere since coming on. How's the ball in? Not bad! And Tenqual fires over. I'll tell you what, they've had the pick of the chances this afternoon, Olympic. Just not been able to take them. Cyrus Demi earlier, and now Tenqual. Not able to force a save out of Vidakovic from close range. So the Wanderers keeper calls for calm and takes his time over the goal kick. to try and take a bit of wind out of Olympic sails. Haliti will be scratching his head as to why this team have had to wait until they've gone behind again to produce their best football. Another less time to catch up than they had last weekend. A run of 13 games without a clean sheet. It's going to extend another round. This would be a maddening loss for Olympic early in the season at home against one of the A-League Academy sides. As strong as the Wanderers have looked today, they have had their chances. Now they got more defending to do. Battling forward is Ruiz Diaz. He did very well. He waved away the appeals of the Wanderers for the free kick. Wants support though. Hasn't got too much of it. Ten Kuol looking on somewhat tired legs. Managed to get there. Show a bit of hold-up play. And Zoricic has not got the petrol in the tank to chase that one down. Haliti, who was seated for almost all of the first half, has barely returned to that chair in the second 45 minutes. Clapping his hands, yelling encouragement to his team. Como takes this throw from right in front of him. I tell you what, it was an awkward one. Not illegal though. Armson has been rather anonymous in this game. Has won his side a free kick. DePizio is going to pick up a booking, or at least a talking to. Julian Kopp was shoved out of the way trying to delay the restart. DePizio takes it relatively quickly. Varkis slipping it in behind to Armson. Can he announce himself in Olympic blue? Got it taken off him by Barry and then fell to his knees. DePizio battling for it with the goal scorer Lual. Turns it over. And Langos is the subject of a lot of screams from the players for decisions now. Hardly surprising in these key moments so early in the season. Often shape whether you're looking at a long June and July battling through the mid-table or hoping for finals football and perhaps even higher honours. This is not a game Olympic can afford to drop, even so early in the season. Must come away with at least a point to be considered serious contenders, you feel. For Pavlovic, he never really controlled it. Only half away from DePizio there. And now for the Wanderers, possession is enough. Holding this goal-to-nil lead, given to them by the substitute, Awan Wal. Throw goes Olympics' way. Zoricic hoists it upfield. First touch was in a promising area for Varkis, who's roared forward by the Olympic fans. Poor clearance from Vidakovic. So similar of his ball, though. Kuol's made something of it. Barry sweeping up. Back to the feet of Ten Kuol. Just lacking options. Holds it up, waits for support, and then just bends it safely into the keeper's clutches. Kopp launching it clear, giving Lal a chance to stretch his legs, and he's managed to force Gerdic to put the ball out of play for another Olympic throw, for another Wanderers throw, sorry. Will take their time over every restart. Young though they are, they're players who played a lot of senior football either in the NPL here, and the ones that have been brought in from elsewhere. Well schooled. Maybe Simmons, the most notable with Well, his A-League experience over the past couple of seasons. He's one of the few in a line waiting for this throw, which went long. Wasn't really dealt with by Olympic. Wild's there again. Off balance as he struck it, and never threatening Gibson's net. Now a ball from the Wanderers warm-up from the 20s. It's come onto the pitch, which was a stern word from Hayden Langholz. You'd expect given the situation of this game. So it didn't look to be intentional, I have to say. Ball wins the header, and now there's a chance for Ruiz Diaz. Gets the shot away after a nice piece of skill, but it didn't match the touch to put him in that position. Plenty of power, but lacking direction. A chance for Vidakovic to get a little bit more time off the clock. Ricky Franson's touch betraying him at a convenient moment, shall we say. Five minutes for Olympic to find an equaliser. Vakis looking the most likely provider at the minute. He just needs someone to take a chance in the middle. Zoricic. Vision was good to see the pass, but there's too much weight on it. So the Wanderers can continue with their game management. That is a commentator's term for taking their time over restart, shall we say. Simmons. As any team in the competition would with 1-0 lead away from home, I might mention. Barry looking long for Pavlovic. And to be fair to the Wanderers, they haven't stopped looking for goals whatsoever. The play going forward has been rather positive. Defensively, a tidy build-up from the back has departed the situation of the game, but still throwing numbers forward in an attack. Certainly not resting on this one-goal advantage. Although Olympic have had better of general play since going behind. Whiffen with a first real chance to get forward himself here. Luis Diaz. Back out for Vakis. There's plenty of blue bodies to aim for. Only found Barry. Still the Wanderers can't clear their lines completely. Armson for Ruiz Diaz. He's made a good impact since coming on. Chipping that one towards Tenquola. I don't know if he was anticipating that. Reels it in before it trickles out of play. Whiffen again. He's happy to have that ball trickle out for a throw. Armson. Still feel he could be the one to come up with a key moment. That might be it. Lovely ball in behind for a tool. Blocked again at the edge of the area by Cameron, and then hoof, it's clear. Thumping clearance from Anthony Barbic. Gordon on old legs, just thumping it forward. So Vidakovic can rest with the ball at his feet. Time really running out for Olympic now. 3 good chances, a few more regulation saves for Vidakovic, who's made his fair share again today. But what a key clean sheet this will be for the Wanderers, and their first win this competition since round 17 last year against the now relegated Hills United. 2-0 that day with goals from Aidan Hammond and Marcus Yunus. Those two any longer at the club. Now a bit of concern over on the far side. Olympic physio is back on the field. Sure, he won't be wasting any time over it. No, Gerdic has already taken himself off the field, so Olympic now chasing this game with 10 men. Gibson is sent forward to take this free kick from inside Olympic's own half and get some bodies forward. Sure, Varkis was the ideal target in that situation. Now, after winning the header, down goes Nathan Barry just to need a few more seconds off the clock. Armson over to provide the physio help quickly because the Olympic medical staff are already preoccupied with Anthony Gerdic on the far side. Now the Wanderers physio is trying to get himself on the field. Referee says that's not necessary at the moment, just for cramp. Big effort today again from Nathan Barry. He's growing and growing into his spot at the heart of the Wanderers defence week on week. He was over the closing stages of last season. Seathorpe FC junior from the Warringah Association. Picked up in his early years by the Wanderers. Developing into a player that looks like he has an A-League men's future. Poor touch from DePizio, really. Had no pressure around him, and they're 3-on-2 here, the Wanderers, if they play it right. Pavlovic gets it wide to Akon. Held up initially by Whiffen, who did well. And then might have won the goal kick as well. No, corner. Whiffen, as you can see, less than pleased with that decision. To the second minute of added time. No big boards down here at Belmore today, so we're in the dark as to how much time will be added on. Trying to think of stoppages in this second half. There haven't been too many. It's down the wrong end of the pitch for Olympic, and now they've got another set piece to defend. I don't think the Wanderers will be launching this one in. Jeff Peter Murray is down there. I think it's him. Side Richie Cardozo. And the Olympic supporters are less than impressed with the delaying tactics, but they're well within the rules, and the Wanderers are utilising all their nous. Pavlovic holding off Olympic player after Olympic player. Whiffen's clearance is blocked. While strong enough to hold it up. His goal's the difference. Akon did well. Pavlovic allowed to turn. Saved by Gibson. Oh no, Toole just let the ball pass by him. Simmons takes it up. Simmons. Weak effort. But perhaps more critically, it's taken more time off the clock. Simmons making a long chase back. And takes down Zoricic. He's going to go into the book. Zoricic is frustrated about it all. For the Wanderers captain in that situation, the yellow card is the least of his worries. Another Wanderers player down in back play, so they're defending this with 10. Zoricic into the area, Barry diving across again, and he wins his side the free kick as well. Zoricic's exuberance costing his team a chance at a corner there. Although Haliti looking rather bemused by it all. Trying to lift this team out of mid-table for the first time since they won the Premiership back in 2022. It's been a couple of lean years by Olympic standards, and this result is not going to increase any enthusiasm around the side in the early stages of the season. Wells was the last touch, so the throw goes Olympics' way, but they need it down the other end. To a 5th minute of added time at the end of the second half. Zoricic, it's a loose touch, still managed to get it forward for Varkis. Holds off Nkomo. Pizio's touch lets him down, and he's blocked the clearance. So another Wanderers goal kick. Nathan Barry knows his side are nearly there. Superb effort from him and Ricky Franson. It look as though they've locked down that central defensive position for the time being for the Wanderers. And they are going to go unbeaten through their first 2. There it is. Time not even enough for the goal kick. And Olympic, despite having the better of the opportunities this afternoon, weren't able to take them. Some errs in front of goal from Cyrus Demi and from Tenkwal late in the second half, combined with some brilliant Wanderers defending and another superb game from their goalkeeper, Tristan Vidakovic. In addition to the goal from the substitute, Awan Lal has seen them run out winners by a 0-0 here and to move to 4 points in the early season. Olympic will wonder where it all went wrong, in control of the game for long periods, but not able to make an impact on the score sheet against this Wanderers Academy side. So happiness in Western Sydney, less so in Belmore at the end of this game as the Olympic supporters filter out. It reminds us to stick around. We've got Blacktown City taking on Spirit FC at 7 p.m. on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel, as well as tomorrow Sydney FC hosting Sydney United 58 and the Central Coast Mariners taking on Apia Leichhardt at 5 o'clock. But for now, that's all from Belmore Sports Ground. Alex Molchanoff signing off in round 2 of the NPL New South Wales men's, where it's finished Sydney Olympic 0, Western Sydney Wanderers 1.